Well, look at the time. It's time for another bedtime story from us here at Cozy Cottage. My name is Tilly, and this is my grandson Toto. So snuggle down, sweet dreams. Toto, yawning. Yes, Grandma, but make it funny and new. And tomorrow was his very first day of school. In fact, he couldn't sleep because his mind was racing. They were having such fun, flapping around and pretending to be airplanes. Miss Hootabelle, the wise old owl teacher, hooted hello from her perch. Welcome, Percy. We all flap on our first try. Come take a perch. Then she noticed the big bag in his paws. Is that your lunch bag, Percy? She asked. Oh, no, ma'am. He opened his book upside down. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. He sounded out. Miss Hootabelle smiled. We read from the top of the page, not the bottom, oh dear. So Percy tried again. Top, sad, sat, silly, sore. Hooray, you got it. He beamed. I was just bringing this bag home to its owner, and I have to practice my flapping some more. Today you faced your fears and flapped, even when you fell. That's the most important lesson of all. He thought about all the times he'd fallen, but he also remembered all the times he'd gotten better. I can't wait to tell Grandma all about my first day of school, he said. Tilly, and just like Percy, you'll flap, fall and fly, because every first day leads to new friends and brave beginnings. But he dipped his beak in the paint and realized he'd forgotten a very important thing. Feathers. He needed feathers to make his art. The other birds laughed. He turned and saw a little chick who chirped, excuse me, but you're next, oh dear. He'd completely forgotten about music class. But as he listened to the other birds singing, he felt a little tune start to form in his chest. Coo, coo, clap, coo, coo, clap. He sang out, and all the birds in the class cheered. Bravo, bravo. Miss Hootabelle added, you have quite the gift, Percy. Ha, ha, no feathers, no art. And Percy felt tears pricking his eyes. What should I bring to show and tell? He worried. Well, he thought of his collection of shiny pebbles, but they weren't very interesting. He thought of his colorful wing, but that wasn't very original. Then he had an idea. He rummed family pizza. I'm gonna draw a flying pizza, he declared. And as he proudly showed it to the class, he heard giggles all around. A flying pizza. That's silly, Percy, chuckled a parrot. But Percy beamed, because it's my dream to fly, and I love food. And besides, he added, it's my picture, and I think it's pretty creative. The birds applauded, and for the first time that day, Percy felt proud of himself. He wanted to join in the fun, but he was just too nervous to do everything right. Just then, Miss Hootabelle flew over to him. Is something bothering you, Percy? She asked. He sniffled and explained that he didn't have any feathers for painting. Well, here are some extra feathers from the art bin, she said. And with that, Percy painted a beautiful blue sky with puffy white clouds and sparkly stars. Wow, Miss Hootabelle praised. You really used those feathers to their best advantage. He blushed, embarrassed to admit he hadn't flown very far. Miss Hootabelle smiled kindly. Why don't you show us what you can do right now, Percy? She encouraged. So Percy took a deep breath, flapped hard and floated up, but only a few inches off the ground. Oh, dear. He flopped back down onto his feet. Sometimes it's okay to ask for help, Percy, Miss Hootabelle said, and together you and I will get you soaring. And Percy wanted to play too. So he took off, but quickly tripped over a loose cobblestone. Which is heavier, a pencil or a worm? Percy asked. A pencil, she replied. Very good. Start with a pencil, then add a page, then a whole stack of pages. Slowly but surely, Percy learned to control his wings. And after flapping, flapping, he could even stay airborne for a whole minute. Whew! He was thirsty after all that hard work, and he unfurled his napkin to take a drink. But oh, dear! He brought his lunch to school and left his napkin at home. But Miss Hootabelle simply cut a leaf into strips and tied them together with a twig to make Percy a brand new napkin. Oof! I need to practice flying, he sighed, and landed back on the ground. Then he saw a lovely blue bag lying nearby. I bet this belongs to someone at school, he thought. It was a perfect size for carrying worms. So he put his bag inside and practiced flapping again. Lift off. Zoom, he cried and floated all the way to school. Was the school far or nearby? Would he have any nest mates to play with? What would the teachers be like? Oh, so many thoughts. So Tilly turns to Toto. Oh, do you get nervous before something new, Toto? Toto, well, yes, Grandma. Like when we went to the park and I was scared to go down the slide all by myself. Tilly, oh, sweetheart, being scared is okay. And sometimes when we're nervous about something new, it helps to be prepared. What was that? You know, packing the right things for school. Well, Percy did his best to prepare for his first day. He laid out his favorite feather, his lucky sock, a shiny pebble to skip, and his very best wing. But after a while, he began to worry again. What if I forget my backpack? What if the owl teacher is mean? What if I coo too loud and everyone stares? So he traded his pebble for a juicy worm, his feather for a pencil, and his lucky sock for 2 more worms. After all, a bird needs brains, not luck. Then he grabbed his backpack and headed off to school. But when he stopped to admire his reflection, he realized he only had one shoe on. Oh, dear. Well, he thought, better to wear 2 shoes on 1 foot than none. So he put on his only sock and started off towards school. And maybe about a pigeon. Tilly laughed softly. A pigeon. I've got just the one. It's called the pigeon's first school day. And believe me, it's filled with feathers, flapping and a few funny flops. Right, Toto? Pajamas on, teeth brushed, snuggled in bed perfect. Now how about a bedtime story? Once upon a time in a big, bustling city full of pigeons and pretzel stands lived a young pigeon named Percy. Now Percy was a very nervous bird, and on the way, he met some pigeons playing. When he arrived at Featherwood Forest School, he tripped right over the welcome mat. Oof, and face planted into a pile of worm snacks. So they started with flapping practice. Flap, flap. Then Miss Hootabelle handed him a pencil. Then came reading time, and Miss Hootabelle asked, "Can anyone read this sentence?" So little, so low. All the birds raised their beaks except for Percy. Next came art class, and when Miss Hootabelle handed out the paints, Percy couldn't wait to start his masterpiece. After art came music, and when the birds started singing, one after another, Percy felt a tiny tap on his shoulder. Finally, it was time for show and tell. And as each bird showed their special item, Percy grew more and more nervous. It was time to go home. And as Percy flew alongside Miss Hootabelle, she said, "Well, look at the time. It's time for bed, Toto." "Thanks, Grandma. Good night." Nighty-night.